Well, this is the big challenge to Putin. He talks about peace, but he's stepping up and escalating his attacks, not just attacks on the Ukrainian military, but on civilians and cities like this. And there were 90 Shahid drones attacking Kyiv last night, many with targets at residential buildings like this. It's brutal, it's cynical, it's exactly why we've got to work so hard to help Ukraine secure a peace.
Where does that reality leave the peace agreement that you signed in Paris, the potential peace agreement? Because without Russian acceptance, without Russia stopping doing this, it's not worth anything.
So the declaration in Paris was an important agreement that signalled the commitment led by France and the UK of European nations ready to secure the peace for the long term, security guarantees alongside discussions and similar plans from America. Together those form a very important part of potential peace negotiations. And it's now down to President Trump, in the way that only President Trump can, to help bring those parties together and make Putin come to the negotiating table and talk seriously about the future and the future of peace.
Well, talking about President Trump, he's made pretty clear this week, he talked about a momentous first week of the year, that his priorities probably lie in his hemisphere, Venezuela and perhaps Greenland. Isn't that signal, particularly about Venezuela, a signal to Trump, a subtle one, a not very subtle one, that this part of the world is really Russia's backyard and it's up to Russia to do what it likes here?
I don't think you can fault President Trump for his commitment to try and bring peace to Ukraine and his determination to try and bring Putin to the table. We're ready to support that. Only President Trump can do that. And as far as Greenland goes, quite clearly our Prime Minister has spoken to the Danish Prime Minister today, reassured her and reaffirmed to her quite clearly Greenland and Denmark are part of NATO. Greenland is defended by its NATO membership, and the future of Greenland is entirely a matter for Greenlanders and the Danes and them alone.
So what did the Prime Minister mean when he talked to Trump about Greenland and he mentioned that security issues would be taken care of? Does that mean that the UK is prepared to cooperate with the Americans when it comes to their role in defending Greenland?
No, what the Prime Minister said when he spoke to President Trump over last night was just to reassert the position that he set out and signed and publicly declared with other European leaders in Paris this week. The future of Greenland is for the Greenlanders and the Danes. It's a sovereign country. It's a nation that is part of the 32 nations of NATO alongside the US. That's the way to guarantee its security for the future.
British bases and British personnel were used and helped with the American-led capture of the Venezuelan-related tanker earlier this week as well. Can you promise that no British bases or personnel would ever be used in the event of an American military operation against Greenland?
Well, look, first, that tanker was a tanker that had been sanctioned by the US in June 2024 for busting Iranian oil sanctions. That was the purpose of stopping it getting to Russia. So there was a strong legal basis, and we were proud to support a US operation that is helping clamp down on that shadowy shipping, which does so much to fuel instability and conflicts, Iran, Venezuela, and of course Russia.
But again, would you guarantee that British bases and British personnel would not be used by the Americans in any way if there was to be any American aggressive or belligerent action against Greenland?
Whenever the UK commits troops, whenever the UK supports the action of other nations, as we did this week when the US boarded that ship, stopped it from getting to Russia, we will always do so on a fully legal basis.